Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special summer edition of Sports Night. I'm Joe Young.
And I'm Howie Shapiro. And I'm excited because tonight we get to talk to two brand new coaches to this program.
Yeah, it is not an unusual situation to have new coaches in the Coon Rapids athletic programs, but we hope that these ones are able to stick around. We start with the new football coach, Chase Vasquez. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Yeah, excited to be here.
First, how did you hear about the job, and what interested you most in becoming the next Cardinal head coach?
I think I heard about the job on Indeed, honestly. Just randomly, I've been a substitute teacher. I have 10 years of coaching experience, kind of stepped away from high school football. Was doing different coaches with, I would say, more sports performance, helping out with camps for different organizations, whether it's quarterbacks or just skills stuff. And just talked with the family and decided to put my name in the hat and went through the process and haven't looked back. I mean, I think in December when I saw that, I never envisioned kind of going for the head coach thing, and I think I'm finding my stride and the kids are responding, what makes helps reassure the decision. So it's been fun.
How special was it for you? Obviously, you played at Andover in this conference, to be able now to coach in this conference against teams like your former squad in Andover and other ones in the conference.
Honestly, I'm excited about playing 6A. I know there's going to be challenges, but the biggest thing to me is, like, these kids grow up playing youth sports together. And so I think keeping that competition throughout high school, they still talk to each other. They play basketball, they play AAU things together. And so it's like, I feel like it's weird when Coon Rapids, the Andovers, Anokas, Blaines, Champlins aren't playing each other. And so I think that's a challenge to our coaching staff, our community, to get numbers up, to be able to compete at that level. But it comes down to depth, and we just got to do a really good job at game planning to be able to compete this year. So it starts in the weight room.
Yeah, and that has been the struggle, right? Is the football program was allowed to drop down to 5A. They made it to a state semifinal in 2019. That was their last winning season. Their last season at the 5A, full 5A level was 2022 when they finished 4-4 and lost first round of the playoffs. In the last couple of seasons, back to a full 6A schedule, they've really struggled. What do you do to make the team more competitive against those big schools you mentioned?
A lot of things I tell the kids, the best ability is availability. So, like, our mission is focused on attitude, academics, and athletics. Attitude, a lot of times it's like just walking into the environment with the right mindset of how to learn, right? So the classroom, taking your headphones off, being alert, ready to take notes when the teacher's ready to talk. It's things like that. And so that carries over. That's the attitude, and then it's the academics and the athletics, hopefully. They're student athletes, and so that's the stuff we're pushing for. And so part of this year is establishing a foundation to compete, and then how to sustain that is growing through our youth football program and starting to get numbers there, because the surrounding areas have 3 to 4 teams at every grade level. We're around 1 team per grade level this year, and so it's going to come down to numbers and just keep sustaining and offering growth mindset for these kids, I guess, just challenging them and teaching them how to keep sticking with things. So I think the big word right now for us is consistency, whether that's like attendance. Just show up and we'll take care of you.
Go back to a point you touched on, the weight room. No, I follow you guys on Instagram. There's been a lot of great videos of the kids working out. I saw you had Principal Pena speaking to the guys, and talk about how that has been affected during the summer, because I think obviously building yourself up, getting ready for the football season, so when you walk into that, you're in good shape coming in.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember what I wrote to the parents. I try to touch base with the parents on Sundays through email, just giving updates, but like, the weight room teaches them how to, like, prepare for the football season, the ups and downs of it, because iron is not forgiving. If you're not spotting, like, you're going to get hurt in the weight room, and that's not our goal in the weight room. Our goal is to get stronger, to be able to perform at our sport. And so that's the first part. That's going to prepare us for life and all the other stuff with that. And so that buy-in and that mindset of what we're doing in there, I think that's the biggest thing what we're doing. And so, like, our kind of team mantra this year or this season is going to be culture, because we want to start thinking in the weight room. And like I've talked to Coach Spellman that you're going to meet with later, and how can we bring more of our female athletes in the weight room as well? But that means we need more female coaches in there. And so culture to us is commitment to unify. That's everybody. That's every athlete. We want them in the weight room at some point in the season. Hopefully it's when they're not in season, they're in there. And then lead, teach, understand, respect, and empower is the rest of it. And a lot of that's for us coaches on what we want to mentor with these kids. And so that's everything we're doing. And I'm explaining it to the kids, and they're buying in, and they're showing up, and they're working hard, and it's starting to pay off, I think. And so they're starting to flex a little bit more, and that's always fun when you got these young men like seeing the work pay off, because it's not instant gratification. So
these have all been kind of, struggles that the program has had throughout the years. What do you think you are going to be able to do a little bit differently to try and turn that trend?
Honestly, it's attracting the right coaches, and I think that's some of them have flocked here. Part of having these conversations with them, going through interviews. Coach Miller, our offense coordinator this year, he's been awesome. He's been part of the school. He's a health teacher there. I think he's been there for about 6 years now. He's from Northwestern, and so he runs our breakfast and Bibles throughout the year on Wednesdays. And so he's been a good person to lean on for knowing the community for me, just coming in new. Coach Metcalf, our defensive coordinator, is starting to establish our defensive culture and stuff like that. He's coming from Hopkins, which is a very similar, I would say, situation they've had in the past. And so that's been a benefit. And then I've been able to luckily bring in some young coaches that have just graduated from college football. So I have a defensive line coach, Coach Jones, that will be with us. Another coach, Coach Marvitka, is helping out with the linemen, who is a student teacher with us here this past spring. And so the kids know him. And so I think it's just bringing just guys that want to be part of Coon Rapids, that want to stick around, because I think what I've learned is you got to have leadership for a long period to do something. And so hopefully this new leadership group can be around to make an impact. So
let's talk a little bit on the field stuff so far this year.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've had a number of 7-on-7s, correct? Mm-hmm. Talk about that. I know we just briefly spoke before we came on set, mm-hmm. and how you had a great night last night.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about how the guys are reacting to that, mm-hmm. how they're buying into your system, and what it looks like early on the field.
I think what I told the guys at 7-on-7 is so one day I challenged them to look up the word stoic, right? I think that's what we need. So we're excited. We need to learn how to celebrate with each other, not at the other team. Those are things we're talking about. There's a lot of corrective behaviors right now, right? Like if something happens, we're correcting it right now. You're off the field, and just because when we do that, then we don't have things that are going to take away from our goal. And so the kids are just playing excitedly, right? And that's all I want. I want them to compete and just be excited, because there's going to be some linemen that are going to be part of 11-on-11 football, or the game's going to be different. So it's trying to remind them that there's some big boys ready to have something to say about this too. So
they definitely can factor into the game.
So, but it's fun. It's fun. Again, to me, it's playing these teams that are around us, so these guys can hopefully have some healthy competition off the field about stuff still.
So going into the first season, knowing what the history of the program
mm-hmm.
is, what do you think you would consider a success at the end of the year?
Be in games, right? I think that's the biggest thing. These kids need some belief. So we just want to compete. So, but the thing's going to come down to health and availability mm-hmm. at the 6A level. So starting with that freshman class, they need to stick together and have a good season and stay healthy, because that's going to be foundation. We don't have numbers right now for a sophomore team. And so that freshman class we have to retain to start having a sophomore schedule to develop players for the next level. And so we just need to compete and be healthy, and people got to be ready to step up and be consistent. That's the biggest thing. If they show up, we'll get them right. But if our attendance is below 75% and things like that, that's where it doesn't work for football. There's too many positions. And so that's, to me, is just be consistent and we'll be able to compete. They'll be successful.
Well, we certainly hope to see you be very competitive.
Yeah.
We are going to be there for the majority of your contests, and we certainly hope the numbers continue to build throughout not only the high school program, but as you touched on earlier, the youth program. The youth program actually right now kind of struggling with numbers, but they do have their biggest event of the season coming up the end of this month. They have their summer camp. That's where they hope will drive a lot of interest, a lot more guys to get signed up. Right now, they're at 36 total signups for grades 2 through 8. They hope to attract a lot of kids through the summer camp. If you register for football, summer camp is free. Otherwise, it's $25 for 2nd through 8th graders. It's 4 nights, the week of the 28th through the 31st. If that you pay for the 25 for the camp and then do decide to play, which they hope you will, that $25 will count towards your registration fee. They hope to get to 20 to 30 kids per grade level. 2nd grade is $100, 3rd and 4th grade $150, $175 at the 5th, 6th grade level, and $200 at the 7th and 8th grade level. They do have scholarships available, and they will help with carpooling. They supply all of the pads except for cleats and mouth guard. So really hoping we can get more kids out at that level and continue to feed your program for years to come here, Coach Vasquez.
Yeah, and I met with the booster or the youth program this weekend, and just a couple things about the camp. So they won't have gear at the camp. So just for parents to know, throughout, it's going to be at the end of July, right? And so the Monday we're going to do like an offensive focus, a defensive focus, and then we'll kind of switch it up the following day. And so I encourage families to come. Our high school football staff is going to be the one coaching the camp, so I will be there, as well as Coach Miller, Coach Medcalf, our offensive defensive coordinators, and some of the coaches they'll eventually hopefully get to play for. And so our freshman coaches are awesome. We're going to have a really good freshman staff. Coach Mandyke, who's part of the wrestling program, I'm sure you guys know quite a bit. Coach Lindquist will be there. And so I think I would encourage families to come, just because we're going to have some good events for you guys. And get registered.
Yeah, we hope that it boosts the program, absolutely. We hope you are on the start to a great success with the program. We thank you for coming in today. We are going to take a short break. We'll be back with new girls soccer head coach Maggie Spellman right after this on Sportsnight.
Watching your favorite Cardinal sports live is getting even easier. Whether it's CTN Cable Channel 859, the CTN Facebook and YouTube pages, or now live on our Twitter page. You choose how you want to watch Cardinal Nation. With CTN, you'll be able to catch all the big plays, all the emotion, and all the fun of Coon Rapids sports. CTN Coon Rapids, stay connected.
Welcome back to our Summer Sports Night special. Joe Young and Howie Shapiro. And now we're happy to introduce new girls soccer head coach Maggie Spellman. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Very excited to have you. And first of all, talk about your coaching journey that brought you to Coon Rapids.
Yeah, so I started out playing for Minnesota Thunder Academy growing up, went to Armstrong, played varsity for 4 years, and then ended up at University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, played soccer there, and then moved back home and started coaching soccer in 2021 right after I graduated for Fusion, which is based out of Plymouth, Wayzata area, and then found an opening originally for the assistant position at the high school, and then the original head coach stepped away, and then this opportunity opened up, and I jumped on it, and here we are.
So how special is it for you, obviously playing in this conference, now you're coaching in this conference? How special is that?
It's very full circle, and it gives me an opportunity to really bring in my empowerment that I have for women's sports and giving girls an outlet in the world of sports.
So you take over a program that has had its ups and downs, hasn't had a winning season in the last decade. What do you think you can bring to try and kind of turn that around?
I think I bring that edge of being a young coach, a young woman coach. You don't see a lot of those in this industry, unfortunately. And coming from coaching club where I've experienced a lot of adversity as a young woman coach, I'm bringing that to this program where I want these girls to find soccer as their passion. They love this sport. They want to be there. It's all about the buy-in. I want them to come and I want them to succeed and find athletics to be fun and worth their time. I want them to come and be excited about something, and that's my biggest goal.
Obviously, you've been working with the girls here early on. What are your first impressions of the program coming in fresh?
They're very excited. They're excited to see someone new that is ready to bring a new edge to this program that they may not have seen before. And they're excited for the lifting part of it. I'm huge on strength. You don't have to be the biggest player on the field, but you should be the strongest. I'm 5'2", but I could push around a player that was 6 feet tall. So my biggest thing is making sure we're strong, we're preventing injuries, and we're building that stability on the field. And with lifting comes team building, which transfers directly to the field.
We talked with Coach Vasquez about it, and we did kind of mention that numbers is a struggle for almost every program in Coon Rapids High School. What have you thought about the numbers that you have and what you can do to build it even more?
Yes, so since I took over, our numbers have steadily been increasing at our summer practices as word of mouth gets out there of who I am and what our program is going to look like. But I really would like to eventually break into youth sports. So get into North United, get into Rush, get into Boreal, and start running some camps to get these younger kids excited about high school and where they want to go to high school, and make them buy into the Coon Rapids program for not only soccer, but their siblings to come play football or basketball or volleyball there.
You use the word buy-in. I want to go back and talk about how the girls have bought in to getting into the weight room during the summer and building themselves up like you want them to. How has that been in terms of participation?
I think that comes from personal experience. I can talk about where I was as a player at their age and how that's transformed me to who I am now and how I use lifting as an outlet for myself. So when they can see someone that went from their age to growing up to someone in their mid-20s to see what that actually looks like, it makes them more excited to see the potential of what getting in the weight room can do to prevent injuries, to build a team that they didn't have before, a different culture.
Yeah, because weightlifting, obviously, you can do well into your life. I mean, I lift weights because I have to keep up with him, but it's something that you can build upon them and say, you know, you can start lifting weights, start getting in shape, and it'll continue on and hopefully do it all your life.
Absolutely. It's a great outlet personally. That's what I talk about on the field all the time. Whatever's going on at home, when you come here, you can turn that off. Yeah. You're here to have fun, you're here to get stronger, to build a connection with your teammates that lasts forever. It gives them an outlet for whatever's going outside in the real world to just spend a couple hours and turn that off.
You've mentioned passion and having fun, which I think are the most important parts of any sport and in any endeavor, really, for that matter. With a team that has struggled and will see their share of adversity as they go through the season, how do you continue to keep them uplifted and keep the positive attitude?
I'm big about celebrating the small wins. So winning one half at a time. You may be down 2-0 going into the half, but if you can come back and score 2 goals, you won that second half in my eyes. It would be a draw on the scoreboard, but in my eyes, you won that second half. You faced that adversity of losing the first half and coming back and winning. So celebrating the small wins, even if we were down 2-0 and ended up tying the second half, we ended up losing the game. We still went out there and improved from the first half. So always celebrating those small wins. Like, yes, we had 18 girls show up to practice today. That's awesome. Now look at what that's going to do for us for our game going forward.
Talk about, obviously you've chosen some people to coach with you. Talk a little bit about your staff and what they bring to the table as well.
Yeah, so I have a returning JV coach that teaches at the high school. He coaches with the track and field team. I'm building my staff as we speak, so more to come on that.
Good.
What do you think, have you felt about the skill level of the players and what you need to improve on most in order to be kind of where you want to be at the end?
Yeah, so fortunately we get to have these summer practices. So I really get to see kind of our baseline. So I'm going into things in the mindset of a lot of these girls have never touched a soccer ball before. This is their first time putting cleats on. So going back to the fundamentals, things that I don't normally teach in club, but I get this time to do it before we start season. So working on touches, working on what a formation looks like, working on how to defend properly, getting really down to the basics so that when we start the season, a lot of these terms aren't new to the girls. Building that baseline with my other staff of this is the way I'm going to coach and this is how I see our program going.
Expanding on what Joe said a little bit, so at the end of the season, you look back and say, what in your mind constitutes a successful season for you?
I think being able to build a positive culture, making a shift. There's a little bit of a lull right now, so building up excitement and making girls want to come out and play and telling their friends, hey, you should come play soccer. We have a great team. We have a great coach. We have great coaches that are out there. So building a positive name and also having some success. We want to win games. So even if we go 500 for the season or less than that, celebrating those games that we did win and how that can form our schedule for next year to set us up for more success.
You talk about celebrating the small victories. We talk a lot about that here. And you will see some of the best teams in the state in your schedule. It happens every year. Mm-hmm. In those losses, what will be the things you focus on to try and, keep the girls from getting down on themselves?
Yeah, big on, hey, back line. You did a great job of defending today. You may have faced 5 goals, but you stopped X amount of goals from going in the net. Forwards, you kept the ball on their half for 10 plus minutes. That's a huge win. So taking those little things where they might be down on themselves because they see the score. But in my eyes, I see, well, you did this for 10 minutes. Celebrating each player individually, making sure they get their flowers. I'm big on giving girls their flowers. You did this and this was amazing. And keeping that positivity where, yeah, of course, we want to win games, right? Everybody wants to win, but we have to build a baseline and build from there. So if we can celebrate those little things, it'll project into the next game when, hey, we were in their half for 25 minutes. That's even better.
I have one more question. I don't know, we're running out of time. So looking back, you have an extensive soccer career and history and background. What do you take from the coaches that you played under and that brings to your program?
I think the positivity. I was very fortunate with a lot of the coaches I grew up with that really built a foundation of positivity. But now as a young woman, I want these girls to feel like they can be in a position that I'm in. I had mainly men as coaches growing up, so seeing more young women take on these roles would be huge for me to see full circle.
Well, we are excited to see you start and hopefully find a lot of success in this program. Thank you for coming in. Maggie Spellman, the new girls soccer head coach at Coon Rapids High School. But that is going to do it for this edition of Sports Night. We want to thank everybody out there for joining us and continuing to support everything we do here at CTN. For the entire crew, including Howie Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. Saying good night.